As always, it is so great to be here with you. You know, like I've told you in the past, if it wouldn't be for you, Spain on a fork would not be possible. So once again, I just want to let you know how much I deeply appreciate every single one of you. Anyways, today we are making what I consider to be one of the most delicious recipes we've ever done here on the show. We're talking cheesy baked broccoli. Now, even though I'm calling this dish cheesy baked broccoli, we're not going to be using the oven. We're going to cook everything on the stovetop, but still end up with that beautiful melted cheese. And let me tell you, by cooking that broccoli in the stovetop instead of the oven, it's going to give it the most incredible texture and flavor with absolutely no mush in there, folks. Now, it's this recipe very easy to make, but it's made with just a handful of ingredients, and it comes together in under 30 minutes. Let's begin by getting the broccoli ready. I'm going to be using a head of fresh broccoli here. This is a little over half a kilogram, which is 1¼ pounds. Of course, to make this recipe, you can also use a bag of frozen broccoli florets. Just make sure you fully thaw them out and then pat them completely dry. I'm going to begin by cutting off the florets from the head of broccoli. We're looking to end up with medium-sized florets, so it's very important that once you cut all the florets that you go back to the bigger ones and cut them into smaller pieces. That way they're all similar size. That way they can all evenly cook. Then I'm going to transfer the broccoli florets into a strainer and rinse the broccoli under some cold running water, just between 20 to 30 seconds. This is to ensure that we remove any of the excess dirt in the broccoli. Then we'll transfer the broccoli into a salad spinner and spin it completely dry. If you don't have a salad spinner, no big deal. Just transfer the florets over a dishcloth and pat them completely dry. For the next step, I'm going to grab a large non-stick fry pan and heat it with a medium to medium-high heat on a dial from 0 to 10. That would be about a 7. And we're not going to add any olive oil into the pan right now. We're just going to heat it up. That way it gets nice and hot. We'll add in the olive oil later on. At the same time we add in the broccoli. That way that olive oil doesn't lose any of its beautiful flavor and it can all be absorbed by the broccoli. In the meantime, let's start getting our cheese ready. For this recipe, I'm going to be using a Spanish Manchego cheese that's been aged for 3 months. It's got a great flavor to it, but it easily melts. However, to make this recipe, you can use whatever cheese you like. Just make sure it's a cheese that easily melts. I'm going to finely grate about 1½ cups, which is 120 grams, and then set it aside. Okay, let's move back to the fry pan. It's been heating for about 4 minutes, and at this point, it should be nice and hot. I'm going to drizzle in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 30 milliliters. And then immediately add in the florets of broccoli. And we'll mix the florets around, that way they're all coated in that olive oil. Then we'll place all the florets in a single layer and cook them for about 3 minutes per side without mixing them. This is going to give the broccoli such a beautiful crusty sear, and at the end, an incredible depth of flavors. And once again, it's very important, you don't want to mix the broccoli at this stage, otherwise it's not going to develop that incredible crusty sear. After a total cooking time of about 6 minutes on the broccoli florets, that's 3 minutes per side, and they've developed a beautiful crusty sear, I'm going to season them with a generous portion of garlic powder, a pinch of sea salt, and some freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give it a quick mix, that way those seasonings are evenly mixed into the broccoli. Then I'm going to add in 1/3 cup vegetable broth, which is about 80 milliliters. You can also use water here, but by using the broth, it gives the broccoli the most incredible depth of flavors. We'll place a lid on the pan and lower the fire to a low-medium heat. And we're going to simmer this on a low-medium heat just between 4 to 5 minutes. This is going to ensure that the majority of that broth gets absorbed by the broccoli and for that broccoli to be perfectly cooked through. After about 5 minutes, I'm going to remove the lid from the pan. And as you can see, the majority of that broth has been absorbed by the broccoli and it should be perfectly cooked through. You know, you can always just pierce it with a toothpick, and if it easily goes in there, but with a little resistance, it is ready to go. For the final step, I'm going to add in our 1½ cups of grated cheese into the broccoli, making sure it's evenly spread out. And we'll top it off with a kiss of sweet smoked Spanish paprika. This is going to give this dish the most incredible smoky flavor. As always, the paprika I'm using is from Kiva. You'll find a link where you can get some in the description box below. And if you buy from that link, you also get 25% off your order. Then we'll place the lid back on the pan and turn off the heat. And we're going to let this sit here just between 3 to 4 minutes or until that grated cheese is fully melted through. Once the cheese is fully melted through, I'm going to remove the lid from the pan and the pan from the stovetop. And check it out, our cheesy baked broccoli stovetop edition is done. This is known here in Spain as broccoli con queso a la sartén. Super easy to make, made with just a handful of ingredients and done in under 30 minutes. Let's give this a try and see how it turned out. Seriously, this looks out of this world good. Here we go. You can hear that texture in the broccoli. So many great flavors and cheesy goodness, but the star of this dish continues to be the broccoli. With the technique we cooked it in, it's nice and crisp, but it's fully cooked through with absolutely no mush in there, folks. You saw this, so easy to make, done in under 30 minutes. Truly the perfect side dish for any meal. In my opinion, this is what simple and delicious food is all about. Really quick before I go, shout out to a couple of my patrons, Melissa Thurman, Leslie Tyson, Alan Sanchez, Jay Edwards, and Kevin Moran. And guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Leave me a comment below and don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on a Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego. Doesn't get any better than that. Summer's coming around, and if you can avoid to turn on, not turn on the oven, even better, and then create something like this. Lord Almighty, give it a try, it's gonna blow you away. Hasta luego.